Welcome to this tutorial on macros in Excel for data analysis. In this video, we'll explore about how we can record and use macros and use the VBA editor. This is what we are going to learn today in this video. Stay tuned till the end. Macros in Excel are a powerful tool that allows you to automate repetitive tasks, streamline data processing, and increase productivity. By recording your actions or writing custom VBA, Visual Basic for Applications code, you can create macros to execute complex sequences of tasks with a single click. Before you can start working with macros, you need to enable the Developer tab in Excel, which provides access to all the tools necessary for recording and editing macros, as well as writing VBA code. Once the Developer tab is enabled, you'll have access to all the tools needed for working with macros. One of the simplest ways to create a macro is by recording it. Excel will record every action you take, whether it's formatting cells, running calculations, or creating charts, and save it as a macro that can be replayed. After recording, perform your desired actions in Excel, example, formatting data, applying filters. When you're done, click Stop Recording. It's important to understand the security settings around macros. Since macros can execute code, they can potentially pose security risks if opened from untrusted sources. Excel allows you to control how macros are handled through its security settings. Choose a security setting based on your environment and whether you trust the macros you're using. Once you record a macro, it gets stored as VBA, Visual Basic for Applications code. You can view and edit this code in the VBA editor. This editor allows you to create new macros, modify existing ones, and write custom code. Once you've recorded a macro, you can further customize it by editing the VBA code. For example, you can add more functionality, modify the recorded steps, or adjust the macro to handle different datasets. Customizing macros allows you to adapt them to different datasets or perform more complex tasks. Beyond recording actions, you can write macros entirely from scratch using VBA. This allows you to create more sophisticated automation that goes beyond the limits of recorded macros. Basic VBA structure for macros is as shown where. Sub marks the beginning of a macro. Write your VBA code between the sub and end sub statements. Starting with recording our first macro that will be responsible for making the first row of our dataset bold, center aligned, and make it all borders. Once done with recording, we will move back to Developer tab to stop the macro recording. Let's create a simple macro to format a dataset by bolding the headers and applying a background color. This macro bolds the text in range A1 and sets the background color. Test this by clicking on the macro option and select the macro and run it. Data cleaning is one of the most time-consuming tasks in data analytics. Using a macro, you can automate processes like removing duplicates, standardizing formats, and filling in missing values. This macro removes duplicates from columns A through D and converts text in column B to uppercase. Summarizing data by calculating totals, averages, and counts is another repetitive task that can be automated with macros. This macro calculates the total and average sales for a given data range. When working with VBA, errors are bound to happen. The VBA editor provides tools for debugging your macros, such as breakpoints and step-by-step execution. You can also handle errors in your macros using the on-error statement to ensure that they don't crash when encountering unexpected issues. Writing efficient and robust macros requires careful planning. Here are some best practices to follow when creating macros for data analytics tasks. Use descriptive names for macros and variables. Include comments in your code to explain complex logic. Test your macros on a small dataset before applying them to large datasets. Always save your work before running a macro. Use error handling to manage unexpected issues. And that's a wrap for macros. Macros are an incredibly powerful tool in Excel, particularly for automating data analytics tasks. In the next video, we will start with SQL. Till then, like the video, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.